The Liberal Party in Canada right now can't seem to attract voters from Western Canada. They are very regional and have problems with that. The same could be said of the NDP in Canada. The NDP, or the New Democratic Party, is the more left of center party right now in Canada. They thus have a more or less a three-party system. The same could be said of the Democrats in the United States. They tend to do well on the coasts, but not that well in the interior of the country, especially as of late in the last 10 years. They have similar problems to some of the liberal parties in Canada. In this video, I'm going to go through a lot of information, and I'm also going to talk about Pierre Poilievre in the video and his future with the Conservative Party of Canada. I'm also going to talk too about American and Canadian politics and the similarities of what both countries are going through right now. So here we go. Right now, in my view, in the United States and Canada, both countries are very divided on paper politically. And that's one of the reasons I think Pierre Poilievre might be able to become Prime Minister. I think it is still possible, especially if an election gets called over there within the next 2 years. There's a lot of division and unpopularity of globalization in Canada like there is in the United States. And that's one of the reasons I think Pierre Poilievre could eventually be Prime Minister. Canada is also a very divided country right now, like the United States. That's also a reason that I think the Republicans could keep the White House in the United States after Trump exits the scene. It is possible, or maybe not. With the advent of AI in the United States and massive job loss that's coming with this, and due to the lack of jobs in the U.S., I think it's possible the Democrats could get the White House back in 2028, and I'll tell you why. In 2028, a big overlooked factoid is this: anywhere from 35% to 50% of the voting population will be in the millennial generation. Many of those people are now socialists, and Generation Z is also going to help the Democrats, in my opinion, in 2028. The future of both of these nations and all of these parties is really up for grabs as they continue to progress and change within their respective nations. Right now, the Liberal Party, I think, is kind of going through a remake like the Democrats went through with Clinton in the early 90s. The same thing could be said of the Democratic Party within the United States. They're trying to rebrand or remold their image. I think that's what Kamala Harris is trying to do right now with what I call her remolding tour and her book tour. She's trying to change her image with the public. She is definitely setting up, in my view, another run for the presidency in the United States by trying to become a more moderate Democrat that's more right-leaning on the line to conservative politics. I believe she's going to try to run more as a moderate Dem, or what I used to be, or what we used to call it in the 90s, a DLC Dem. She's definitely trying to become more like a Clinton Democrat again. Right now, the Democratic field is so liberal and so wide open, many people could be the nominee in 2028. Anybody from Tim Kaine to Stephen A. Smith to Ro Khanna of California to Tim Walz, Harris, or AOC, or Oprah Winfrey could all be the Democratic nominee in 2028. It's possible. I actually believe Oprah Winfrey could run as the more liberal business woman version of Donald Trump in 2028 and maybe even become president. I do think it's possible. Winfrey's name has been tossed a lot about going back to the 90s and running for president of the United States. The liberals in Canada have issues in Western Canada, just like the Democrats have in the U.S., in getting Southern and Western voters in national races. such as going back to the presidency in 2000. I think it's been going on a lot since the Gore-Bush race then. But that could change as the South continues to alter. In some of these states, such as Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico, and Georgia, keep changing politically. They are becoming more and more liberal is what's starting to happen. Just as the upper Midwest is becoming more Republican in presidential years since 2016. Especially states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio, I think are getting more conservative and thus more Republican in presidential years. All nations change politically because of demographics and people moving around those nations. The U.S. is a great example of that. It's flip-flopping in some ways. The South is once again becoming more democratic in pockets of it, just like the upper Midwest is flipping to a certain degree from blue to red, depending on how you look at it. If Pierre Poilievre runs again for Prime Minister of Canada, I think he will do very, very well in the western half of Canada, thus ensuring a highly competitive close race within Canada during that time period. Once again, as I stated earlier, I think they need to call for an election within 2 years if he's going to have a chance at being Prime Minister again. Anything beyond that, he's probably done politically. You may see him try to run more libertarian the second time around, if it happens, meaning this. He may try to moderate or become more liberal on issues such as abortion, the environment, or possibly other issues. It could end up happening. I think Pierre Poilievre could end up becoming Prime Minister of Canada. It is possible. I also think Kamala Harris could maybe eventually become President of the United States. Don't count her out. She got very far in politics with limited experience in many of the offices she held, and it could happen. I know it sounds crazy, but one day you could both see these people on the stage as leaders of their respective nations. It is possible. Remember, Bill Clinton and Nixon did this. It's just a few examples in political American history. It can happen. And it may happen. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your time this year. Please make a note that my last videos of the year are going to be next week. After that, I will return in late February of 2026. Please remember Veterans Day if you live in the United States next week. Please remember Remembrance Day if you live in Canada. It may even be somebody you know when it comes to being a veteran. I will return in February of 26, but like I said before, I'm still going to be doing videos next week. They will be the last videos of this year. I will see you again next week with more exciting content. Thanks for your time. It's free to subscribe.